I am a hospice nurse who broke protocol to fulfill a dying father's last wish. What happened changed how our entire hospital operates. Code blue in room 412. The overhead speaker jolted me from my charting. I ran toward the room, knowing exactly who was there. James Miller, 42, stage 5 pancreatic cancer, admitted to our hospice unit just 3 days ago. As the hospice charge nurse, I knew this wasn't supposed to happen. Hospice patients have DNR orders. We don't call code blues. We don't resuscitate. We provide comfort as life ends naturally. But when I reached room 412, I understood immediately James wasn't coding. His 8-year-old daughter Emma was having a severe asthma attack. She had been visiting her father when her breathing suddenly deteriorated. With no pediatric supplies on our floor, the staff had called a code blue, the fastest way to get help. The emergency team stabilized Emma and rushed her to pediatrics. James, barely conscious from his pain medication, had witnessed the entire terrifying scene. Later that night when I checked on him, he was fully awake for the first time in days. "Sarah," he whispered, using my first name, though we'd only met when he was admitted. "I need to ask something impossible." His eyes were clear despite the morphine drip. "I need to see Emma before I go. Not here. I need to see her in her dance recital this weekend." I started to explain why we couldn't transport him. He was bedbound on continuous oxygen and pain management. The recital was 30 minutes away. Our protocols explicitly prohibited such transfers. "I know," he said, stopping me, "but I've never seen her dance. I always said next time, next performance." Work was always. He trailed off, tears forming. "This is her first solo. I can't miss this one too." His oncologist had given him days, maybe a week. "The recital was in 3 days. I'll see what I can do," I said, knowing full well what the answer would be. As expected, my supervisor, risk management, and the attending physician all said absolutely not, too risky against protocol. Liability issues. That night I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about my own father, who never missed a single performance or game despite working 2 jobs, and about Emma, who would soon have only memories of her father. The next morning I approached our new hospital administrator, Dr. Patel, who had been pushing for more patient-centered care. I explained James's situation, prepared for another rejection. Instead, she asked, "What would it take to make this happen safely?" For the next 48 hours we worked feverishly. The transport team modified a stretcher. Respiratory therapy created a portable oxygen solution. The pharmacy prepared specialized pain management. The pediatric team arranged for Emma's asthma support. I coordinated with the dance studio for private access and optimal viewing. On Saturday morning, I arrived early to prepare James. "Is this really happening?" he asked as we transferred him to the transport stretcher. "Yes," I smiled. "Your chariot awaits." We arrived at the studio 30 minutes before the performance. The owner had arranged a perfect spot for James's stretcher with an unobstructed view. A pediatric nurse positioned herself near Emma, just in case when Emma stepped onto the stage in her purple tutu. James's entire body seemed to light up. For 3 minutes and 20 seconds there was no cancer, no pain, no impending loss. Just a father watching his daughter dance. Emma ran to him immediately after, still in costume. "Did you see me, Daddy? Did you see my solo? I saw every second, butterfly," he whispered. "You were perfect." James died 2 days later with Emma holding his hand. His ex-wife later told me it was the most peaceful she'd seen him since the diagnosis. I expected to be reprimanded for pushing boundaries. Instead, Dr. Patel called me to her office and asked me to help create a new final wish protocol for terminal patients. Today, 3 years later, our hospital has facilitated over 60 similar requests. A grandfather attending his grandson's graduation, a mother witnessing her son's wedding, a child visiting the ocean one last time. Each request undergoes risk assessment, but we start with "how can we" instead of "why we can't." As I watched her twirl in her purple dress, I realized some protocols exist to be followed, and others exist to be transformed. Sometimes the best medical care isn't found in a manual. Sometimes it's found in the simple recognition that dying patients are still living, and every moment matters until the very last one.